I wanted to just hop on and introduce the video that you're about to see, which is a short video full of practical ways that you can really apply self-compassion. And so I'm going to link the video right here. So that's part one. So definitely watch that one first to get a little bit more context around self-compassion. And the Bible verse is out of Matthew, and it is when Jesus says, "Whatsoever you do to the least of these, you do also unto me." He talks about how when we care for others, we are demonstrating love for him. And the question that I posed in the last video is, what if one of the least of these is actually you? Enjoy this video with a couple of more tips in terms of practical ways to apply self-compassion. Think about showing ourselves compassion and really answering that question of, what if the least of these is me? The first thing we need to say is that when we are unkind to ourselves and not showing compassion, it is actually sinful. It is actually not okay. We are not demonstrating love for God because, after all, you are his creation. So a couple of practical ideas for how you can start this practice of compassion towards yourself in your life. Number one, I always like to say, how would you treat a friend? So if your friend came to you and confessed all of the things that you're beating yourself up for, how would you respond? Would you say the same things to her that you're saying to yourself? Like, oh, how could you? You're such a screw up. You're so inadequate. No, of course you would validate her and you would give her instant grace and forgiveness, and you would see her heart and you would see her brokenness and say, it's okay, I love you anyway. There's forgiveness for you. And so why not do the same thing for yourself? So beginning that practice, and sometimes it's helpful to have like a written record of this, and sometimes it can be something that you're doing in your head as you recognize and become more aware of that inner critic in your mind. I would just encourage you to pay attention to when that inner critic shows up, what he's saying, and what purpose he is fulfilling as well. When you realize that that inner critic is there, begin to question what his job is. Is it to shut down suffering? Is it to just drive away uncomfortable feelings? Is it to avoid personal responsibility? Sometimes people get stuck on beating themselves up and sort of continue in that pattern almost by way of penance or punishment. And so to really look at, why am I staying there? What's the payoff of having that inner critic? Does it help me avoid something else that I don't want to be avoiding, such as drawing close to Jesus? Typically, there's something going on with that inner critic that we keep them around. If we can just beat ourselves up and keep it there and then stuff it, a lot of the times we're not getting to the heart of the issue, and then it begins to happen over and over again. And so we actually never get to the invitation to become more holy. Once you've recognized what that inner critic's purpose is, I would invite Jesus into that as well, and begin to let go of that inner critic. I like to say, fire the inner critic. Release him of all responsibility. His job is now over because you're under a different kind of lordship and leadership now, and that's from King Jesus. And he says that you are okay just as you are. Finally, I would just envision sitting with Jesus, whether it be on a park bench or one of your favorite spots. It's helpful to envision a conversation actually with him as you share your failures, and to see how he would respond. And can you then parrot what he says back to yourself? So if he says, it's okay, I forgive you, you are lovable just as you are, can you then say those things to yourself because he died for you? Jesus gave up his life to cover the mistakes that you're beating yourself up for. So letting go of the beating up and coming to true repentance, where we press in and say, okay, Lord, this is what I did, and I feel horrible about it, and I'm going to let go of being so hard on myself and recognize that I am enough because you died for me. So I hope that this is an encouragement to you, that you can begin to turn this verse on its head a little bit and realize that it's for you too. We are one of the least of these. And as you begin to experience and receive that compassion from Jesus, then you're able to give it away to other people. We can't give away what we ourselves don't already possess. And so as you become so much more compassionate toward yourself, you will find that you are going to be able to find compassion and empathy so much more easily for others, because your mindset is going to shift to a grace-based mindset.